The Lakers, though, they got the win, and then J.J. Redick, right, he said afterwards, it's a reminder of at its best what this Lakers team can be. But those kinds of games, you start to wonder, do they need another piece to get there consistently? That is what Anthony Davis certainly thinks.
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having the big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight at the 5 and I'm at the 4.
No reaction. I mean, the reality is that's not a new report. I got the job 6 months ago, so I know that. I've followed this team since I retired. Just put a date next to it. That's the report. It's not a big deal. Those guys want to win. We want to win. And again, it's a challenging environment to just go out and make trades.
So we'll have the full interview with Anthony Davis a little bit later in the show. But Shams, how are those comments from AD? We just heard from J.J. Redick, but how are they reverberating around the Lakers front office here?
The Lakers are having due diligence. They are, I wouldn't say responding. I think they're just going about their jobs. They're having due diligence conversations, trade conversations with teams. They have 2 first-round draft picks that they can trade, 2029 and 2031. And those picks in the marketplace, those have tremendous value. But any conversation for the Lakers starts with, what can you get that's going to make a true difference? What difference-making big man, wing player, guard can you go find if you're going to trade a pick that's so far out? My understanding, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, their position on this is they don't want the Lakers to mortgage their future. It doesn't have to be a big-name additions. You think about a few years ago when they went out and got Russell Westbrook. Those aren't really the acquisitions necessarily in mind. It's about players and the organization showing activity and finding players, kind of like Dorian Finney-Smith earlier this year, that can round out this team around the edges.
Right, but he was really specific. He said, I need another big man. That's what Anthony Davis is hoping to get. Wendy, you've covered so many LeBron James teams. We know that they're always trying to push in all the chips to make sure they maximize him now. How do you read these comments?
This is a totally coordinated effort. If you look at what AD said to Shams in the last day or so, what you look at what LeBron said earlier this week, they're trying to apply pressure to Rob Pelinka. The thing I would say is they have tried to apply pressure to Rob Pelinka in years past, and it hasn't worked. Pelinka hasn't yielded to these public pressure. J.J. Redick is right. He used to be on this side of the microphone. He was involved in this type of conversation over the last couple of years when this exact same thing happened. And quite frankly, I just don't think the Lakers like what's in the market, so it's kind of easy to be conservative. And secondly, I don't think the Lakers fear retribution here. Now, if AD wants to threaten something more serious, maybe, but I don't think they see AD wanting to leave LeBron James. LeBron James re-signs with the Lakers within the first second that he can, year after year. So honestly, I think they would try if they saw something they could get, but why would they mortgage the future if they don't think they can, significantly improve the team?
Yeah, I'm with Wendy on this one. I just don't see anything in the market out there that they can get. Obviously they need a big. We know this has been the question for the years past. But who do you go get? Who's out there that's valuable or that can change this team around? I don't see anybody out there that we can for sure make the playoffs or be contention with this guy. That's worth it. There's guys with contracts. It may seem easy. We'll find a big, but there's contracts in the plays. It's not as easy as it sounds when you're trying to make things add up. And I just don't see many bigs out there that can match up with the Jokic or Joel Embiid.
I don't think anybody is saying it's easy, but you were on that 2020 team when they won a championship, and Anthony Davis played 40% of his minutes at the 5. This year he's playing 96% of his minutes at the 5. So maybe take realistic trades out of the equation. Do you think it's still necessary? The impossible is necessary.
100%. I mean, but the 2 guys that we had on that team are now not playing. Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, we had those pieces. They're not playing anymore. They're older, and we can't find anybody to replicate that for that group.
Yep.
But it's very, very viable. It's very important. They need that to give him help. He is taking too much of the load offensively and defensively where it's going to wear on him in the playoffs. And to play a guy like Jokic, who is MVP, reigning MVP multiple times, it's going to be a lot for him to handle.
Yeah, I think the Lakers, they're going to continue to scour the market for the next week plus until the NBA trade deadline. Much more from Anthony Davis coming up. You were a part of the Lakers' last championship. Anthony Davis had to get a little bit of help at center during all of that. We were looking back at some of those excellent clips. None of them were from that run because the Golden State Warriors weren't there.
Yes, luckily.
What do you remember from watching those?
I just remember being at home. Said some of those were Christmas games, watching them battle it out. Some of them playoff games. But just the back and forth, man. The finals games, trash talking, that's the best of the best when the league was so competitive. As a fan, you want to see that again.
Yeah, and in order for the Lakers to get back there again, it feels like maybe they are one piece away. Shams, I know you spoke with Anthony Davis. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation. Obviously, it started off with the roster and LeBron James's comments. We got into the LA Fires. We got into JJ Redick and just really his relationship there and the motivation that him and LeBron James have to winning another championship in LA.
How can you guys navigate the sort of mental demands of having to play close to perfect basketball?
We don't have a choice. I mean, that's the way our team is constructed. We have to play close to perfect basketball.
LeBron James made some comments. He said that there's not much room for error with this team, given the way this roster is constructed. What more can be done with this roster? Are you satisfied with the roster? Do you feel like you guys need some more here?
I think we need another big. I feel like I've always been at my best when I've been the 4. And having a big out there, we know it worked when we won the championship with JaVale and Dwight. I'm at the 5 and I'm at the 4.
This historic 2020 NBA championship belongs to the Los Angeles Lakers. And banner number 17 will soon hang in the rafters.
I think our 19-20 team was like the perfect construction of a team. We had shooters, we had dogs defensively, we had scorers, we knew like everybody who knew their role.
It sounds to me like you're saying you guys are maybe a couple pieces away.
We are though. Like I really feel like we are.
Good evening tonight as we come on the air here live in the West for Pacific Palisades here in Southern California as multiple wildfires burn at this hour out of control across Los Angeles.
Obviously, you're here in LA, you've lived here for the last several years. How did the last week and a half affect you with the fires? How did it impact your family?
My wife calls me, like, the fires are going on, but it's still pretty far away from me. I didn't find out until the next morning that JJ had lost his home. And then my wife told me the next morning that a lot of classmates from my daughter's school lost their homes. I remember a couple of days later looking outside one of my windows and seeing a fire, like, literally right here. And at that time, I knew I had to evacuate, so we stayed in the hotel for about 4 or 5 days, and we're trying to get back to some type of normalcy.
Your coach, JJ Redick, lost his home. What message did he give you guys as far as how to rally around this situation?
First of all, I was even surprised that he was here, given the situation that he was in. But he just wanted to make sure that when we go out and whenever we play that, you know, it was on us, the players, the organization, to go out and do whatever we needed to do to bring joy back to the city.
The other way comes LeBron, behind the back and after Davis. Wow!
2 stats for you. This year, you're averaging a career high in touches per game of your whole career. You're the only player in the NBA right now averaging 25 points and 2 blocks. What were those conversations like for you early when you knew that he was going to be the coach and him making you kind of the orbit of this team?
I think when he got hired, we went to dinner and we had a real conversation in person. You know, he's drawing stuff like, oh, look, I can. And I was like, okay, you know, I like it. Just being able to be, you know, the hub of the offense and the ball coming to me now, making plays every possession, I think is impactful for me in my career, especially this season, and, you know, for our team.
Here's Christie to the cutting James.
So LeBron James is 40. You're 31. You guys have been in this heat of competition, trying to contend for a championship here. How important is that for you right now?
1, we want to win it for the city. 2, we never got a parade. 3, it's a lot of talk about an asterisk next to the championship, which I believe was probably the toughest championship to win. Him and I are like very, very motivated to win another championship.
So Malika, Danny, what we have here is a player in Anthony Davis, along with LeBron James, that believe they're elite, still playing at a high level, at the peak of their powers, and they want one more championship in LA. And obviously they want the front office and the Lakers to have some urgency in going to get players. But who could that be? Who do you really trade your assets for? That's going to be the big question between now and February 6th.
And they have a couple of days, really, for them to scour the what's out there on the market to make those adjustments that Anthony Davis is talking about. Because if last night was any indication, there is still a lot left in the tank. But guess what? Both of the Los Angeles teams, they are neck and neck in the standings right now in the Western Conference. And I think if we'd said that about the Los Angeles Clippers at the beginning of the season, a lot of folks wouldn't have believed us. Coming up here on
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.